Alright, what is up internet? JBroadway here. If you're watching this video, it might be because you're in a similar situation to me and that you got a song done, you have a little bit of lyrics written, but you don't have anyone to actually sing the song, so you resort to singing it yourself. Unfortunately, your voice sounds like absolute dog water, but there still is hope because by torturing your CPU with copious amounts of effects and plugins, you'd actually make it sound not too bad. So anyways, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to polish a turd. I got this song I'm working on, it's called I Feel It, and I got some lyrics written here that I am singing. I'm gonna play it for you without effects and with effects so you can hear the difference. Yeah, let me just play this for you guys.
Ooh, I feel it in the room.
So yeah, my voice. Yeah, I know that sounds really bad. My voice, it sounds like a deflated balloon. Things get drastically better once we turn on the effects chain here. So let's do that, and here's how it sounds. So as you can hear, that is infinitely better. The vocal, it sounds thick, it sounds wide, it sounds buttery, it sounds smooth. This is a very common sound that you hear in EDM, which is the formant. Is it formant? It's called formant pitch shifting. I'm gonna run you guys through the vocal chain. I'm sure this will be useful to a lot of you guys that are watching right now, how to do this effect. You know, you don't actually have to be able to sing to create good sounding vocals for your tracks. All right, so let's just start with the first thing in the chain here. We got the EQ. This is what it sounds like with it off.
Ooh, I feel it.
And then on.
Ooh, I feel it.
You know, so we're taking out some of the low end, lots of the mids, keeping some of the highs. I will say there was actually some processing done to the vocal even beforehand. If you listen carefully, you can kind of see some of the pitch correction I've already done.
Ooh, I feel it.
And you can achieve that using something like Melodyne. I know that's really popular, but if you don't have Melodyne, you can use NewTone, which is FL Studio's version of Melodyne. This is what I use. NewTone works really well. I've used it in a lot of my tracks, and I don't even have Melodyne because NewTone works perfectly fine for me. Okay, so we got the EQ here, and then we have a limiter here, which is set on the compression side, okay?
Ooh,
so that's just kind of, so that's just boosting.
Ooh, I feel it.
The vocal. Here's what it sounds like without the limiter.
Ooh, I feel it.
So it's just doing some compression, nothing too complicated there. Then we have pitcher here, which is.
Ooh, I feel it.
So it's just tuning the vocal to the key of the song. As you can see, I have it set to D minor here, and then I have the notes selected, which I want the tuner to react to.
Ooh, I feel it.
And then you can click and disable notes.
Ooh, I feel it.
Pitcher is really nice. I believe it's free and it comes stock with FL Studio itself. All right, next we got this instance of patcher here. I just have it named LittleAlterBoy, but I'll break this down for you. The reason why I'm using patcher in this vocal chain is because I actually ran out of effects slots and I needed some more for the delay, which is down here. But let me just break this down for you. As you can see, I'm splitting the signal into two different instances of LittleAlterBoy with its own separate EQs. You can see that here. So at the top here,
I feel it.
so that's this top instance of LittleAlterBoy here. If I unmute the bottom one here and just solo it, this is what the bottom one sounds like.
I feel it.
And then when you combine the two together,
I feel it.
you just get this nice big thick sound. And also just a quick tip, if you're in patcher and you want to open up multiple instances of plugins, just hold Alt on your keyboard and then you can open up as many things as you want without them automatically closing out. Okay, as you can see, I got them both routed into this MultiPass here. So MultiPass it's basically just a frequency splitter, you know. And if you have like an up-to-date version of FL Studio now comes stock with a frequency splitter, so you don't even necessarily need to use MultiPass to do what I'm achieving here. So anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm splitting the bands of my vocal into a low, mid, high, and then I'm taming the stereo width of the vocal. So if I just disable these bands here, so there's no mixing going on at all, this is what it sounds like.
I feel it.
You know, it's just too wide, and for whatever reason, LittleAlterBoy, it makes your sounds just sound so wide. So by adding in these stereo snap-ins, I can independently tweak the stereo width of the vocal. So as you can see on the low end here, the width is down all the way. So the low end is completely mono. In the midsection here, I'm just taming the width a little bit. And then the high end here, I'm also taming the width a little bit.
I feel it.
So if you're looking for a free alternative to MultiPass, Ozone Imager is a free plugin that does the job really well, and it will do exactly the same thing that I'm doing here. Here, let me open this up for you. You can select your bands like this, turn on stereo eyes, and then you can affect the stereo image of each of those bands with these knobs here. All right, next I got the signal going into this fruity balance here, which is not really doing anything here. It's just separating out the signal here. And then what we have here is we have the delay chain down here. So this is 100% wet down here, and then this signal right here is the dry signal. If I mute this, you can just hear the wet signal. That might be a little hard to hear. If I open up the delay here, you can see the dry is down 100%. So you're just left with the wet signal. And that's going into this EQ here, where I'm cutting out the low end on the delay, specifically cutting out some of the mids, boosting the highs. And then this goes into my reverb mixer, which if you're not familiar with this, this is powered by Valhalla Room. Yep, so then if I enable the dry signal up top here, you can kind of hear what's going on there. So yep, that's this instance of Patcher I have here. Yeah, I highly recommend using Patcher in your productions if you aren't already. It's essentially like an infinite effects plugin, and you can do crazy complex routing, even more complex than this. But anyways,
Ooh, I feel it.
the LittleAlterBoy is what's really giving the sound its characteristic. All right, next we got an EQ here. Next we got an OTT. All right, next we're going into this like really long tail reverb. So the reverb just making it sound nice and creamy, very smooth. I really like the way that sounds. Next we got a Transient Shapper. It doesn't really sound like the Transient Shapper is doing much here, but without it, there's a little bit of a click in the vocal. And the Transient Shapper just helps to remove that. Last but not least, we have this fruity limiter. The fruity limiter is really just adding more gain to the sound. There's nothing going on in the compression side or the limit side. So yeah, that's the vocal chain.
Ooh, I feel it.
All right, guys, I'm gonna save this vocal chain for you guys and have it available to download down in the description so you can use it on your own projects. Just make sure you have all the necessary plugins here. Like you're gonna need MultiPass, you're gonna need LittleAlterBoy, you're gonna need the Transient Shapper, OTT. Yeah, but I'll have a list of all the plugins that you need down in the description below. All right, I'm just curious. Let's find a random vocal and slap that vocal chain on something else and see how it sounds.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right, this will do.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That sounds absolutely terrible. Let's pitch it up an octave.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yeah, so who knows? It's probably not going to sound amazing on your own projects, but it'll be there down in the description if you want to investigate it a little bit more. All right, that is it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new about how to process your vocals. Be sure to leave a comment down below with other types of content you'd like to see, and be sure to swing by the Discord. You know, pop a message, say hi, don't be shy. All right, guys, that's it for today. Peace out.